What skills do you need to start and scale a startup? So, my name's Uchumba Tande. I'm a four-time entrepreneur, angel investor. I just came back from Africa. I was at Angel Fair Africa speaking to startups about what we look at when we're thinking about investing in them. So, today, that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to break down the skill sets, or you can have that within yourself, or maybe you need to hire somebody on your team to do this. So, welcome to the podcast. This is Business and Life Advice with Italian Advisors. Now, let's get straight into it. So, the number one skill you need is sales. So, what is sales? The ability to get your customer, right? Your first best investor is your customer. So, are you able to sell, pitch your product, your service, etc.? So, you're able to recruit your customers, right? Maintain, get some order flow. And if you're not, do you have somebody on your team who's a great, phenomenal salesperson? That's something you must have. Sales happens when you're recruiting people. That is partly sales, right? You're recruiting, you're selling somebody an opportunity to join your company. You're doing sales to investors, right? You're selling us an opportunity to fund the next big thing, right? So sales is such a fundamental skill. That's why I have it number one. Strategy and decision making. So what is strategy, right? Oh, some people say it's your ability to plan in order to get to your desired decision. I like to say strategy is the ability to make decisions that require trade-offs, right? So it's not strategy if it's, hey, it's clear it's Y or X. You're going to go here because there's a clear course map. Yes, but real strategy is when, hey, it's kind of 50-50, 60-40, right? And you have to make a trade-off. What's the best thing to do here, right? So that's right. The ability, in my opinion, is the ability to make trade-offs in order to get to your desired decision, right? Now, why is this so important? When you're running a startup, you have so few resources, not a lot of time, not a lot of people, etc. You have to decide what you're going to focus on, what your company is going to focus on. And you have to learn to say no to things, whether that's no to customers, no to investors, no to team members, etc. And also marshal or tell people, hey, we're going to plan and we're going to do X, not Y. So that's right. Now, on top of that, which is it's so a lot of people boil down strategy decision making. You and your team members will have to make thousands, if not millions, of decisions, right? So, are you building up your decision making skill? This isn't something that you can just offshoot to other people. If you're the CEO, you have to have great decision making skills, but you also want to build that within the team that everybody has really good decision making skills. So, when there is an issue, you all can reason it out, right? And talk through, and you can depend on other people to make good decisions when you're not the one who's leading charge of their management department. When the scaling up, you really have to build up those decision-making skills within yourself and within your team. Product development, right? You have to have a product or service to sell. So are you able, or somebody on your team able, to find something that is valuable to the market, right? So are you able to do market research? Are you able to test and validate? Is it a solution that's scalable? Because it's one thing to find a product or a service that you can sell. It's another thing to find a scalable product or service that you can sell at a good profit margin, right? Or reasonable profit margin. So having somebody on your team who's really good at product development, and product development is not just only building something up, it's also stripping stuff down. Because sometimes what you may want to do is strip things and say, you know what, the customer really doesn't care for this and this. It's an added expense. Let's remove those parts. Let's hyper focus on the customers that only want this 1, 2, 3 things and sell it that way. So don't think of product development as only something you're building something, you're inventing something new. Sometimes you may be reorganizing what it takes to make or deliver something in order to make sure the price to profit ratio makes sense. Team building and recruiting. So if you're trying to build a scalable company, you really have to become good at recruiting and building a team, finding the right pieces, putting them together, getting people to work with each other. So that's something that people often don't realize when they come from a larger institution or another company. They change from an employee to an employer, right? The things people used to talk about, oh, I hate my boss and I don't love this company and whatnot. Typically when it becomes outcome, we forget that other people said this about companies. So how are you going to make yourself a place where people want to work at? What's your competitive edge, right? How are you going to recruit? Is it just you're going to pay people more? Because that's a hard thing to maintain. I'm just going to pay people more. Okay, what are you going to build, or how can you recruit people to your idea? So Tim Cook, before he was the CEO of Apple, he was this chief operating officer, COO. And Steve Jobs recruited Tim Cook when he came back to Apple after his exodus. So when Apple was going through struggles and he came back, and Tim Cook was on an amazing career trajectory, right? He was at a great company. He was doing really well. People knew he was a superstar, and he had a lot of opportunities. And Steve Jobs, while Apple is circling the drain, right? They're close to bankruptcy. Their family was able to recruit him and join, and the rest is history. And most people don't know this, but if he didn't recruit somebody like Tim Cook, Apple would not be what it is now. Tim Cook was phenomenal at marshaling resources and helping Apple deploy in markets profitably, right? So how was Steve able to recruit somebody like Tim Cook when the company was really, most people are saying it's crazy to go work at that company now? And that's the way it is with most startups, right? It's kind of crazy to go work at a startup, especially if you're pre-seed or seed stage, where you really don't have a market name. Your finances aren't really stable, right? You don't have this big pool of cash. You're figuring it out. You might not even have product market fit. How are you going to recruit people to get in there? So this is why it's so important to have that skill and work on developing that skill. It's going to help you differentiate your company and make it to the next level. Leadership. Are you a great leader? Are you able to inspire people to go above and beyond? Are you able to rally the troops, right? Are you able to get people to work together? John Maxwell has this beautiful saying. He says, leadership is the cap on a company's potential or individual's potential. So if you know that and you say leadership is the cap, if you can't increase that skill, you're always going to be locked in at a certain level. Or maybe you break through, but you're going to come back down, right? And you see this sometimes, companies pop and they come back down. So leadership is a key ingredient that you must master. Next, networking and partnerships. So networking is so important to get to that next level. We see there's people who walk in a room and they just light it up. But you don't have to be super charismatic to be able to network, right? It doesn't require, hey, I'm the star of the show. There's many different ways to network. And there's also networking for introverts as well. All of these things I talk about, these are skills that you can build and you can teach yourself. And here is where the rubber meets the road, operations. Do you know how to project manage, right? Are you able, after you get the sale, to make sure you deliver on the promise, right? Because what is a sale? It's a promise to deliver something, whether it's a service or a product. Are you able to deliver on the promise in the budget that makes the company profitable? So operations, that's a whole video in itself, but does somebody really know how to get from point A to point C, right? Not just from a planning, but from an execution standpoint. Operations is about execution at scale. Let's get into time management. So I don't know who this quote's a tribute to, but I really like this. It says, you don't manage time, you manage activities. So as a startup founder, right, as a part of the startup leadership team, you only have 24 hours in a day, right? Only 7 days in a week. How do you make sure you do the most important activities in that time frame in order to get to success? So how are you able to make sure you're doing the things you need to do within the window of time, the window of capital, the window of opportunity that you have? Now, the bonus for you, great CEOs, great leaders are resource allocators. What is a resource allocator? That means you know exactly where you're supposed to put your limited or finite source of resources, how you're supposed to utilize it. If you have $10 left, what are you going to spend that on in order to make sure the company succeeds, right? And that answer may change depending on what day it is, what month it is, what quarter it is, or where you are in your product life cycle. Are you able to allocate resources efficiently and effectively in order to get to your main goal? That's all today. Please leave in the comments below. Did you enjoy this? What skill are you best at? And also, what skill do you think you're missing in order to get your startup to the next level? Thank you for watching another video of business and life advice with Italian advisors. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I look forward to responding to you in the comments. God bless.